And I don't know entirely what we did yesterday. Some of it might be the same. So the very first part is they just want you to write in slope-intercept form. Okay, so slope-intercept form, and let's see, what do you guys, what letters do we
You're
use?
muted.
Hey, sorry.
Hi.
Okay, so what letter do we use for slope? Huh? M. Okay, we use habitually M for slope. Okay, here is slope-intercept form. So it's y equals mx plus b. Okay, and so M is always going to be the slope.
Miss Henning,
What?
after this lesson, do you mind if I get help with yesterday's work? I didn't really get it.
Absolutely.
And you best remember
Okay.
y equals mx.
Okay, so this is slope, or we often call it rate of change. Okay, and then our B, and this is going to be important today, we call our Y-intercept, or we're going to call it also our starting point. Okay, and I want you to think, so we have our $10 an hour example, right? So if we work a job and we get $10 an hour, okay, and we work 1 hour, how much money are we going to have? $10. If I work 5 hours, how much money am I going to have? $50. Okay, so how we would set that up would look like this. Y equals 10x is our slope. Okay, our y-intercept is our starting point. So if you work 0 hours, that's what the starting point is, 0 hours, how much money are you going to have?
$0.
$0. Okay, so your y-intercept then would be 0 when we're looking at that. So it doesn't change the equation any. So just know today, if there's no y-intercept there, it's a 0. Okay, and we're going to talk about that the further that we get. So the first part of this is super easy. We just need to write the equation. So we got y equals, m stands for our slope. And in this case, our slope is negative 10 over 3. The x is always going to be there. And our y-intercept, or our b, is going to be negative 5. I wrote b, seriously. Okay, so this is our b, this is our m. And we're just writing out the equation, okay? You should be able to look at the equation and pick the y-intercept and the slope, and you should also be able to write the equation given the slope and the y-intercept. So if we look at this one, it's going to be y equals 2 over 5x plus 4. This is our m, this is our b. Okay, and it's always going to be a plus unless the y-intercept is negative. Okay, it's always going to be plus because plus is part of the equation. So if we look at 3, okay, how would we write that?
Y equals negative 3 over 2x
Plus 1. Perfect. Okay, so there's no like tricky stuff here. It's simply filling in the stuff and writing it down. Okay. If we look at 4, it's going to be y equals 1x plus 3. Okay. 5 is going to be y equals, our m is 10 over 3 and our b is negative 5. So 10 over 3x minus 5. Okay, scroll down to the graphs or look down at the graph for number 11. Okay, they're giving you the graph and they want you to write the slope-intercept form. So our slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. What's our m? What's m stand for? Huh? It stands for our slope. What about the b? Yeah, the b is the y-intercept. So now, people have struggle with the y-intercept. I don't know why. I think it's because you don't maybe understand. So you guys all know what football is. Whether you watch it or not is irrelevant. Okay. So when we think of football, What is an interception? Yeah. Okay, so as my girl way of describing an interception, I don't know if it's technically right, okay, but like they're trying to throw something, so you're trying to throw Jaden chips. That's like Dante getting in the middle and snatching your chips. Okay, he intercepted your throw to him. That's what an interception is. Okay, if Dante could catch or move fast enough. Okay, but he sucks at life, so that's not going to work. Okay.
The only thing he'll be catching is these hands.
Okay,
Dante
so.
shot me yesterday.
So, the y-intercept is always going to be wherever the line or the graph crosses the y-line. So right here is the y-line, all of this. So we're looking at the point where it crosses the y-line, and you're going to make a dot there. Okay? So, it's going to be right here, and that's at 2. Okay? Now, the next part I would say is kind of the tricky part, kind of not. You need to find another dot on here, but it has to be on the crosshairs. So you cannot, look very closely at what I'm doing. Okay, you cannot pick, we'll say this point. Okay, you can't pick that random point because is that, so it looks like between 3 and 4, would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, but is that 3.5? Is it 3.75?
We don't know.
We really don't know, okay? So you have to pick something that crosses like right on a friggin' lines, okay? I don't even know how to describe it, but so if we were to look at this, you start traveling the line however you can, and right here it's gonna cross very nicely there and right here, okay? So we have our dots, okay? We've established that. And so now we can kind of look at the stuff and start to fill it in. Well, we know our equation should look semi like this. So we can say y equals blank. We don't know our slope yet. X plus blank. We don't know our b yet. Okay? So it's kind of, now we do know our b. What is our b? Where did it intercept that y line?
2.
At 2. So you could fill that in. And I think we did slope yesterday. What is slope? Rise over run. So go from one point to the next, but you have to rise first. So how much do we rise?
3? No, 2.
Over
2.
5.
How much do we run?
5.
5. Okay, so our slope is going to be 2 over 5, but do we go to the left or right?
To the left.
So should it be positive or negative?
Negative.
It should be a negative 2/5, okay? So our slope needs to be negative. Okay, so if we were to look at 12, okay, we could fill in our general formula, the x, and then we got plus something over here. What is our intercept?
Negative 4.
Negative
Negative
4.
4.
So we can fill that in the B spot. And then we need to find another point that's going to work.
Go up 2. No, for the slope.
So we could do any of these points.
The top.
You could, but what's going to happen though if you don't pick the closest point is that, so this, your rise over run would be 2 over 4. Okay, if we use this one, it would be 1 over 2, which are equivalent fractions, but one's in a simpler form. So it should be 1 over 2.
No, but what if there's 2 interceptions?
There's not 2 interceptions. Because what's the beat called?
Oh.
Okay, so if we look at 13, what's our y-intercept?
Oh,
Negative 4.
Negative 4, and then we need to find another dot, which is going to be,
Oh, where 3 is?
mm-mm.
No.
It's going to be way up here is the next, nope, right here is one. Okay, you want to find the closest one. So start to kind of travel on your line. Otherwise, you could get a fraction that's like
3 over 2.
8 over 4, which is really 2. Okay, so we're going to go rise and run. So it's going to be up 3
Over 2.
over 2. And are we going to the left or right?
Be positive.
It would be positive, okay, because we're going to the right. Case 14. So we got y equals something x, a plus our b. Okay, so what's our y-intercept?
1.
1. And our slope is going to be, start traveling our line. Okay, so we can see that we rise
Up 3.
up 3
Over 4.
over 4. Should it be a positive or negative slope?
Positive.
Yeah, it should be positive. Okay, look at 19.
What's the rest of 14? It's y equals 3 over